Hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you so much for joining us today as we are, going to cover Iowa versus Houston Danker. We have a sentencing for Houston Danker today. Let me just check my audio here in a moment. Make sure audio is okay. Welcome to Trial TV. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We are covering Houston Danker, he of Karina Cooper and Ryan Cooper shooting. Karina Cooper was sentenced already, and she was found guilty. Houston Danker pled guilty and guilty as charged and is now facing his sentencing. So, hello, Lacey. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let me, actually, I want to come over here just to kind of review what has happened before. Deb V, good to see you. You've been eager for this sentencing. I hope he says a few words. Sound is great. Thank you, Sherry. Bice, hello to you. All right, so it's going to be about 15 minutes or so. So in the meantime, we can review what has happened. So Ryan Cooper was asleep on June 18th at home. His wife, Karina Cooper, was there with their children, and he was asleep on his recliner. And Houston Danker conspired with Karina to shoot Ryan twice in the face. So he was. So this happened June 18th, and let me just get to my notes for Miss Karina Cooper. She was sentenced. Let's see here. So she was sentenced. Do I have my notes on her sentencing? All right. Thought that I had her sentencing notes. All right. So she was sentenced September 27th. I'm sorry. September 27th, she was sentenced. I apologize. I do not have. Let me see if I have it over here. Is this where I have her sentencing? Okay, here I have her sentencing. So she was sentenced to life without parole. She had to pay $150,000 to the estate of Ryan. She had to pay $14,000 to the crime victim compensation. And so that's what she got. That's what Karina got. Alice, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Alice. Gift membership was kind. Thank you. Thank you for that. How can you give one back? If you go to where you chat, you'll see the emojis, and then right next to that, you'll see a dollar sign, and you just click on that, and then just it says show support. You can do super stickers, membership gifting, super chats. So you can go ahead and do it that way. Hello, Lynn. How are you? Allison. Hi, everyone. Watched her trial. Kelly, yes, life without parole. Bice says he's lost weight in prison. Your peeps look familiar? Yes. Thank you for joining us, you guys. Rita, I wonder if Ryan's family will give impact statements. They did for Karina. We heard from sister-in-law Heather. We heard from his sister, and Aaron and Ryan were brothers, so Heather was married to Aaron. So she spoke, and then Michelle spoke, the sister. So, I'm sorry, the sentencing was September 19th. Sentencing was September 19th. My apologies for that. So today is October, October, what is today? October 3rd. October 3rd. All right, so he took a plea deal. He pled guilty as charged. He did not take a plea deal. My apologies. Let's see. All right, sorry. And we are dual streaming, so if you hear audio from another trial, I'm paying attention to another trial as well, as we're covering another trial, as you guys know. All right. Hey, Edward, good morning to you. Allison, I want to give back. I'll have to figure it out on your computer. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your phone. On some channels, if you're on an iPhone, gifts work. We have no idea why. Aaron says. Lacey, not on iPhone. Rita, thank you for your $4.99. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to bounce over to the other trial. I'll be back in a second. All right, welcome back, welcome back. Looks like we have a feed over here. All right, dual stream. Yes, we're dual streaming. So, Short Life, yay, you're here too. Sparkling Princess, Green-Eyed Cat, good to see you. His wife who testified broke my heart. Oh, Aaron, right? Aaron, yeah. Hey, Caroline. We've got, we should be starting in about 5 minutes or so. So thank you all for joining us over here. I'm going to jump back on the other stream. I'll be back in a second.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to walk with me? I don't know.
All rise. The Iowa District Court in Tama County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lars Anderson presiding.
Good morning, everyone. Go ahead and have a seat. All right, we are on the record this morning, the Tama County case, FECR 018525, State of Iowa versus Houston Danker. State appears this morning by Assistant Attorney Generals Israel Kodiaga and Michael Ringle, and Assistant Tama County Attorney Geneva Williams. Mr. Danker is here this morning along with his attorney Leon Spies. On August 12th of this year, Mr. Danker entered a plea of guilty to the offense of murder in the first degree in violation of Iowa Code Sections 701.7 and 707.2, Parent 1, Parent A, Class A felony. Today is the date that was set for judgment and sentence. Let me ask you, Mr. Kodiaga, is there any legal cause at this point to be shown why judgment and sentence should not now be had?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Spies, let me ask you the same question.
There's none.
And I didn't see anything in the file, but has there been any sort of motion to arrest or judgment filed in this case?
There is not.
All right, then, Mr. Kodiaga, does the state wish to be heard with respect to sentencing?
We do, Your Honor. Prior to being heard, we would like to move to admit what has been filed, E-filed State Exhibit 320 through 324 as exhibits for the sentencing record in this case. Brief description: 320 is Snapchat messages of the defendant. 321 would be Google search histories of the defendant. 322 pictures of his footwear impressions that were found inside Ryan Cooper's house. That's 322 and 23, and 324 is the defendant's shoes. We just intend to move to admit them into the record. We don't intend to publish them.
Mr. Spies, I know you had filed a written resistance to admission of those exhibits. Is there any further record you would like to make with respect to the state's proposed sentencing exhibits?
No, Your Honor. I stand on the objection I filed yesterday, and it's obvious that these are not helpful to the court in its decision this afternoon, this morning. It serves no useful purpose whatsoever, and we object.
All right, I will admit the state's exhibits 320 through 324. at this time. Mr. Kodiaga, does the state then wish to be heard further?
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court. Your Honor, the defendant, Houston Danker, comes before you today for sentencing, having pled guilty with as a principal or on the theory of aiding and abetting to murder in the first degree, which by definition in the state of Iowa requires that the killing be willful, deliberate, and premeditated. And as the court is aware, the only applicable sentence to his crime that he committed with Karina Cooper is a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. While the defendant's guilty plea has spared this community the agony of a trial, it does not erase the profound and calculated nature of his crime. Ryan Cooper was not just a name on a charging document. He was a son, he was a brother, and a father. He was a man described by the defendant himself as laid-back, personable, and having a favorable reputation in the community. He was a hard-working farmer and a family man. His life filled with promise and purpose was brutally and permanently stolen from him by this defendant. Therefore, this sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole is not only just in this case, but also most appropriate, as the legislature has indicated before. Ryan's children will grow up without their father. His father and siblings mourn a son and a brother they should not have had to bury. His friends live with the trauma of his loss. The community of prayer has been forever scarred by the knowledge that such a brutal act of betrayal could happen in their midst. The sentence of life without the possibility of parole for Mr. Danker at least helps to acknowledge that he's given the community a profound and permanent loss. Again, we reached here as a guilty plea, and the defendant's guilty plea is a recognition of the inescapable truth of the evidence against him and the true depth of his culpability. Houston Danker was not a stranger or a random assailant who broke into this house in the night. He was a man Ryan Cooper knew, a man who shared a beer with Ryan Cooper. And yet behind that facade, Mr. Danker and Karina Cooper plotted and killed Ryan as he slept in his house in cold blood. And for that, Your Honor, the state of Iowa, on behalf of Ryan Cooper and on behalf of his family and the community, respectfully request that this court impose that maximum sentence as required by law. Sentence Houston Danker to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kodiaga. Mr. Spies, do you wish to be heard on behalf of Mr. Danker?
I will be brief. At times like this, the words by the counsel are hollow. This was a tragedy of unimaginable proportions, especially in a small community like this where everybody knows everybody. Houston Danker was blinded, both emotionally and spiritually and morally. It led him to aid and abet Karina Cooper in the murder of him. But Houston Danker is not a man without worth. He's not a man without promise. He pledges to his family and to his community that he will take advantage of his isolation to improve himself, improve his aspects and prospects for being a good citizen. There's more than enough grief to go around, and what every crime has ripple effects. This has cataclysmic effects for families and communities. And Houston Danker pledges to the best of his ability to correct the damage that's been done.
Thank you, Mr. Spies. Mr. Danker, Iowa law requires, sir, that I give you an opportunity to address me before I render judgment in your case. There is no requirement that you say anything, but if you do have anything you would like to say, this is your opportunity. So anything you'd like to say, Mr. Danker?
No, thanks.
All right. Mr. Kodiaga, I understand there are potentially 3 victim impact statements today. Prior to going on the record, I had a chance to meet briefly with the council, and we discussed who the potential statements would be from. And my understanding, Mr. Spies, there's no objection to any of the folks who are proposed to be victim impact statements. Is that correct?
It is, Your Honor, yes.
All right. So, Mr. Kodiaga.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, there are 3 victim impact statements. The state will call for the first victim impact statement, which will be read by Ryan Cooper's sister, Michelle Wilson.
Good morning, Ms. Wilson. Go ahead and have a seat. And Ms. Wilson, you can move that microphone a little bit, I think, but we don't swear you in or anything like that. I am going to ask, however, that you please just give us your first and last name and spell them so we have clear who's here for the record.
Sure. Michelle Wilson, MICHELLEWILSON.
All right, and then Ms. Wilson, whenever you're ready, you may go ahead with your statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Here we are, back in the same courtroom to sentence another psychopath for the first-degree murder of my brother, Ryan Cooper. Preparing and presenting a second victim impact statement for the murder of a loved one is unjust. Not only did one of these psychopaths have a demented, vile, and evil mind, but they both contributed to the planning and execution of my brother's murder. At no point did either of the 2 accomplices consider their plan to be unconscionable, immoral, unprincipled, or evil. No, their plan to murder my brother was just an item on their checklist, just an agenda item on their way to building a dream life together. A sick, disgusting plan to achieve their dreams, but what about my brother's dreams? Ryan dreamed of being a farmer every day of his life. Ryan dreamed of being a farmer like his dad, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather. I was 10 years older than Ryan, and remember so much about him as a young boy on the farm. I remember numerous times he would stand at the front door watching the tractors and equipment roll in and out of our farm, just hoping one would stop, open the door, and motion for him to come out and hop in. As Ryan approached his teenage years, he could not get home from school fast enough during planting and harvest season, knowing there was a seat waiting for him in one of the tractors. After high school, Ryan went straight to working on the farm. He had followed Dad and Grandpa around for years, and now it was time to use the knowledge and skills he had taken in and continue on in the family legacy. Ryan obtained his CDL to be able to haul grain and livestock. He continued to learn more about the cattle business by feeding and caring for cattle at the family feedlot alongside Dad and Grandpa. He also attended cattle sales with Dad to learn about buying and selling livestock. Farming was not a job for him. It was a career, a family legacy, and he loved every minute of it. Ryan also dreamed of being a father. He first became a father at the age of 24. His firstborn was a son, and he was the proudest father. After divorce and a couple years of being single, he shared with me once how concerned he was that he would never have any more children. He was afraid he was getting too old. He was still in his 20s at the time. We were a decade apart in age and lived over half a state away from each other, so we did not see each other or talk that often. But I remember each of the phone calls I received from Ryan over the next couple years. Each of the 3 calls, he made lied to me to tell me he was going to be a dad. And each of the 3 phone calls to announce their births, you could see his enormous grin and the sparkle in his eyes through the tone of his voice on the other end of the line. Ryan spent his years as a dad loving his children unconditionally, being a great role model and teaching them right from wrong. He loved showing the kids around the farm, teaching them about life and farm life, sharing his hobbies with them, and giving them a fun and safe home to grow up in. Ryan took his role as a dad just as seriously as his career on the farm. Aside from his dreams, Ryan was a quiet man. He preferred to stay in the shadows. He was generous and a well-respected member of the community. He would give the shirt off his back and more to anyone in need. No one had to ask, he just showed up. Ryan didn't do things for attention. Ryan did things to be a good human. Ryan's dream was to make a career and a life for himself and his family on the farm. Ryan's dream was to have a family, a home full of kids to love and to care for, to watch his children grow up and his children's children grow up. What Ryan wanted most for his children was for them to understand that showing love and compassion for others was being a good human, that working hard was honorable and rewarding. Those were Ryan's dreams. What was your dream? Was it your dream to have Ryan's life? You would murder him and assume his place in his family? To take over his dream and the life he had worked so hard for? You had 2 beautiful children. Why did you need Ryan's life? Was your dream to be like Ryan? To be kind and compassionate, hardworking and honorable? You would murder him and then swoop in to make it look like you're a savior to a family who had lost their father in this unimaginable tragedy. Did you really think you could be like Ryan? No, I think your dream was more disgusting than that. You honestly thought you could murder someone and get away with it, but that isn't how the dream was supposed to. But this isn't how the dream was supposed to end. Your dream didn't end like this, here in this courtroom, did it? I don't know you. In fact, today is the first I've ever seen you. But what I know of you, you believed you could do anything and get away with it. I think you're a psychopath, just like your accomplice. You couldn't appreciate the life you had. You wanted someone else's. You wanted Ryan's life. You wanted Ryan's dream. Ryan was sentenced to death by this murderer. Those of us left on Earth were sentenced to life without Ryan. There's no sentence for this murderer that will achieve justice here. But the sentence this murderer receives today will ensure that he will never live his dream or anyone else's dream for the rest of his pathetic life. If she just would have remembered those casings, those fucking casings. Or if he had just known how to make his Google searches private. So many mistakes. If only they had known. But those are the things you learn when you kill somebody. Something else you might not know, when you get to prison and start sharing your stories, I would think it's best not to refer to yourself as anyone's gay best friend. Now, go to hell.
Thank you.
The second
Yeah, I don't know why there's no audio over here, you guys. I don't know if somebody's actually talking. Maybe they asked not to be on. Maybe they asked to not be on. I have a feeling that whoever's giving this, they don't have. Yeah, a child might be on the stand. I have a feeling that they're the witness asked not to be displayed. So, yep, no, there is no audio. There's no audio. So I have a feeling that's probably a child or somebody asked not to be on, not to be aired. So probably one of the children or somebody didn't want to be filmed. So, yep, there were many minor children. Kids were born in 2010, 2012, and 2016. So, they're 15, 13, and 9. And then Ryan had a son before then too. So Ryan had 4 kids, and Karina and Ryan had 3 kids. So. So yeah, it's either one of the children are talking or just somebody that just didn't want to be on video or on, didn't want to be recorded. Oh wow, that was interesting. Did you see him? He kind of was like, he reacted to that. So that was an interesting expression. Yeah, look at him. See him? Did you see? He's just like, yeah. Looks like he wants to get this over with. Yep, I agree. Denny Dawn. Yep, they are the innocent ones. Kelly, yeah, so worthless. How many lives destroyed for what? Drives me bonkers. Snowcat, yeah, probably a child. Either a child or just somebody who just didn't want to be recorded. So, all right.
The family, that would be the last victim in the statement.
All right. All right, then at this time, Mr. Danker is adjudicated to be guilty of the offense of murder in the first degree in violation of Iowa Code Sections 701.7 and 707.2, Parent 1, Parent A. The judgment is entered accordingly. Mr. Danker is sentenced to be confined for the remainder of his natural life without the possibility of parole. His custody is placed with the Director of the Division of Adult Corrections, temporary custody with the County Sheriff. Mr. Danker is ordered to pay victim restitution to the estate of Brian Cooper in the amount of $150,000 as required by Iowa Code Section 910.3B, Parent 1, and restitution in the amount of $14,944.78 to the Crime Victim Compensation Program. And just for the record, Mr. Spies, my understanding is there's no objection to those amounts. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Danker shall also make restitution for court costs in the amount established by the clerk of court. Mr. Danker did file an affidavit, financial affidavit with respect to Category B. My understanding is, I've reviewed that affidavit, and my understanding is the state has no objection to me making a determination based on my review of that affidavit as to Mr. Danker's ability to pay Category B restitution. Is that correct, Mr. Kodiaga?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based on my review of that affidavit, I will waive the payment of Category B restitution for Mr. Danker. As required by Chapter 81 of the Iowa Criminal Code, Mr. Danker shall provide a DNA sample to the Department of Correctional Services for purposes of DNA profiling. Pursuant to Iowa Code Section 811.1, I know appeal bond is permitted in this case. As far as the reasons for my sentence are concerned, the sentence imposed is mandatory and the court has no discretion to impose anything else. Mr. Danker, I do give you some credit for your guilty plea and taking some responsibility for your actions in connection with the senseless murder of Ryan Cooper. Whether you admitted your full involvement in exactly who shot Ryan Cooper, we may never know. I also hope that you have the opportunity to demonstrate your worth as indicated by Mr. Spies moving forward. But all that said, your guilty plea does not atone for Mr. Cooper's senseless murder, which has impacted so many people, as you've heard here today from the victim impact statements that have been given. You'll have plenty of time to think about that, ponder that with your sentence. Mr. Danker, I need to let you know that you have a right to appeal this case to the Iowa Supreme Court. If you're unable to pay the costs associated with the appeal, you have the right to apply to the court for appointment of counsel and furnishing of any necessary transcripts. All is provided for by in Iowa Criminal Code Chapter 814. If you do want to appeal, you have to perfect your appeal by filing a written notice of appeal with the Tama County Clerk of Court within 30 days of the day. Perfection of your appeal in that matter is a jurisdictional requirement. Failure to comply with the provisions in Iowa Criminal Code Chapter 814 will preclude you from your right to pursue an appeal. If you do want to appeal, you have to have a copy of the notice of appeal served on or delivered to the Iowa Attorney General's office. Is there any further record that needs to be made today that you're aware of, Mr. Kodiaga?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Spies?
Nothing further.
One other item I do want to address. There was a pending motion related to some seized property. My understanding is that the state will be resisting that. I'm going to ask order that the state file a written resistance, if any, by the end of next week. And then we'll address that as necessary following filing that in resistance. All right. With that, since I added that, any further, Mr. Kodiaga?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Spies?
Nothing else.
All right, then we are adjourned.
All rise.
All right, you guys, that's it. So, very short, very sweet. When asked, so he pled guilty on September 12th, and he pled guilty September 12th. When asked if he wanted to speak, he said no thanks. The state said there were 3 impact statements. So one of them was from Michelle Wilson, which we expected, and then the next one was read, but it was we didn't hear it. They didn't show the audio. It did look like a female walked up and walked back, so we thought maybe it was a child, but maybe she read some children impact statements. I don't know, but in any event, we didn't hear the second and or third one. Ultimately, Mr. Danker was found guilty. He pled guilty first degree. Life without parole, $150,000 owed to Ryan's estate. Crime victim compensation of $14,944.78, which is interesting because Karina got the same thing. She got $150,000, but she got $14,944.76. So, I mean, whatever. I'm literally splitting hairs with 2 cents, or maybe I misheard. In any event, judge said, I do give you credit for taking the plea, for your plea and taking responsibility. However, we will never know who shot Ryan. I hope you demonstrate your worth, but your plea doesn't atone for what you did, and you can appeal if you so desire. So, all right, you guys, with that, we're going to say thank you for watching. We're going to bounce back over to the Michigan DTE workers, fake workers, Hernandez and Zuazo case. Thank you to our mods for helping us with this dual stream. Thank you to Aaron for helping with this dual stream. We do have a redirect on, so you don't have to do anything. You will be portaled over. So again, thank you for watching, and have a good one. And we will see you over at Zuazo and Hernandez trial. Thanks, guys. Bye.